The large view screen on the bridge of the Resilience showed the stars. Admiral Do-hyun watched the small dot grow bigger. It was the ship from the Galactic Council, coming to hear Earth's answer. He rubbed his tired eyes. For 3 years, he had worked for this day. "Sir, the Council ship will dock in 10 minutes, said Lieutenant Jin, looking up from her console. Do-hyun nodded. "Thank you, Lieutenant. Alert Commander Subin and tell her to meet me at the docking bay." The Admiral stood straight, his dark uniform free of wrinkles. At 56 years old, his hair had more gray than black now. But his eyes were sharp, missing nothing. The weight of Earth's future rested on his shoulders today. 3 years ago, the Galactic Council had sent their message to Earth. It came through all channels, in all languages. The message seemed friendly at first, an invitation to join the galactic community of over 30 alien species. But Do-hyun and other leaders quickly saw the truth. It was not an invitation, it was a command. "Join us as a protected species," the message had said. "Give us control of your military. Give us your resources as payment. Let us decide what technology you can have." In other words, kneel. Earth's leaders had asked for time to think. The Council gave them 3 years. During those 3 years, Earth had seemed to debate, to argue, to hesitate, but that was just what they wanted the Council to see. Commander Subin met Do-hyun at the elevator. She was tall for a Korean woman, with short black hair and a serious face. At 39, she was the youngest commander in Earth's space fleet. "Are you ready for this, Admiral?" she asked as they walked to the docking bay. Do-hyun's mouth formed a small smile. "I've been ready since they sent that message. The real question is, are they ready for us?" The Council ship connected to the Resilience with a soft thud. Air hissed as the doors opened. 4 aliens walked through. 3 were guards with weapons at their sides. The 4th was Ambassador Voss. Voss stood over 7 feet tall, with blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. His face had no nose, just breathing slits, and his eyes were large and black. He wore fancy clothes that showed his high rank. "Admiral Do-hyun," Voss said, his translator making his voice sound almost human. "I trust you have prepared Earth's agreement to our terms?" Do-hyun bowed slightly, showing respect but not submission. "Ambassador Voss, welcome aboard the Resilience. We have much to discuss. Please follow me to the conference room." As they walked, Voss looked around with barely hidden disgust. "Your ship seems functional, if primitive. The Council will help your species advance, of course, in time." Subin's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Do-hyun kept his face calm. Let Voss think what he wanted. Let him underestimate humans. It would make everything easier. The conference room had a large table and a wall of windows showing Earth below. Beautiful and blue, 5 other human officers waited inside. Voss and his guard sat on one side, the humans on the other. "Now then," Voss said, placing a small device on the table. It projected a document in the air. "This agreement is standard for new protected species. Sign it, and Earth will officially join the galactic hegemony. Your transition to Council rule will begin immediately." Do-hyun looked at the document, then at Voss. "Before we proceed, I have a question. What happens if we refuse?" Voss blinked slowly. "Refuse? No species refuses. It would be unwise. You would be cut off from all galactic trade routes. No help against pirates or asteroids or solar flares. No new technology. You would be alone." "I see," said Do-hyun. "And how many species are currently under Council protection?" 34, Voss said proudly. "All living in harmony under Council guidance." Subin leaned forward. "All 34 gave up their military, their resources, their right to develop technology?" Voss waved his long-fingered hand. "It is the price of peace and progress. But enough questions. We have given you 3 years to prepare. The Council grows impatient. Do you sign or not?" Do-hyun stood slowly. "Ambassador Voss, would you join me at the window? I want to show you something." Confused but curious, Voss stood and walked to the window. Earth filled half the view, its oceans and clouds swirling below. "Beautiful planet," Voss said. "Rich in resources. The Council will protect it well." "We've been protecting it ourselves for quite some time," Do-hyun said. He touched a control on his wrist. "And we've been busy during these 3 years." Outside the window, the space around Earth changed. Where there had been empty blackness, now hundreds of ships appeared. Defense platforms, battle cruisers, carriers, a full military fleet hidden by advanced cloaking technology. Voss stepped back, his black eyes wide with shock. "What is this? These ships, they cannot be yours. This technology is beyond your level." "Is it?" Do-hyun asked calmly. "Perhaps you don't know our level." While Earth's diplomats had talked and delayed, humanity had built. Hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt had worked day and night. Old mining ships became warships. New technology was tested and improved. Earth had united with one purpose: to remain free. "This is impossible," Voss whispered. "Our scans showed nothing like this. We monitored your planet for years." Subin smiled for the first time. "You monitored what we wanted you to see." Voss's face changed from shock to anger. "This deception will not be tolerated. The Council will send its fleet. You cannot hope to match our full military might." Do-hyun returned to the table and sat down. "Please, Ambassador, join us again. Let's discuss new terms. Terms between equals." Voss stood frozen by the window, looking at the massive Earth fleet that had appeared from nowhere. His guards shifted, nervously. "The Council does not negotiate with protected species," Voss said, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. "Then perhaps it's time they learned," Do-hyun replied. "Humanity has no interest in being protected. But we are interested in fair trade, cultural exchange, and peaceful cooperation. The Council will see this as a threat," Voss warned. Do-hyun shook his head. "Not a threat. A reality. Humans will not kneel, Ambassador. Not to the Council, not to anyone. But we will stand with those who treat us as equals." Voss slowly returned to his seat. For the first time in his long career as ambassador, he faced a species that had not only refused to submit, but had the power to back up their refusal. "I will have to consult with the Council," he said finally. Do-hyun nodded. "Of course. You may use our communication array. While we wait for their response, would you care for some refreshments? Earth has many delicacies to offer." As captain, Min arrived with drinks and food. Do-hyun caught Subin's eye across the table. They had prepared for this moment for 3 years. The real work was just beginning. Outside the window, Earth's hidden fleet stood revealed, hundreds of ships shining, in the sunlight. A message to the galaxy: humans do not kneel. The news spread fast across the stars. Humans had refused to kneel. Worse, they had hidden their true strength from the Council. For the first time in 500 years, a new species had said no to the mighty Galactic Council. Scientist Ji-ho bent over her workstation on the research ship Defiance. Dark circles showed under her eyes. She had not slept in nearly 2 days. On the screen in front of her, strange patterns moved and changed. "Any progress?" asked Captain Hua, walking into the lab. He was a short man with a round face and kind eyes. But those eyes looked worried now. Ji-ho pushed her long black hair back from her face. "Some. The alien shield technology is complex but not impossible to understand." It had been 1 month since the meeting with Ambassador Voss. The Council had responded to Earth's defiance with anger. A blockade of 50 Council ships now surrounded Earth, cutting the planet off from the rest of the galaxy. 3 days ago, a small Earth ship had battled a Council patrol. The human ship escaped, but not before capturing important data about Council weapons and shields. That data was now in Ji-ho's hands. "The Council thinks their technology is far beyond ours," Ji-ho said, pointing to the screen. "But look here. Their shields create a quantum field that blocks our weapons. But the field has a pattern, a rhythm. If we can match that rhythm with our weapons, we could punch through their shields," Hua finished. his eyes lighting up. Ji-ho nodded. Exactly. Give me one more day. Far from Earth, in the cold outer reaches of the solar system, Commander Taewan's small fleet hid among the ice rocks of the Kuiper Belt. 5 ships, small and fast, painted black to blend with space. Taewan stood on the bridge of the lead. Ship, the Shadow. Target in range, reported his weapons officer. Council supply ship, lightly armed, 2 escort ships. Taewan smiled. Perfect. Just what we need. For 3 weeks, Taewan's raiders had struck Council ships, always hitting fast and running away before help could come. They took supplies. They gathered information. They kept the Council nervous and angry. Attack pattern Delta, Taewan ordered. Remember, disable the supply ship but do not destroy it. We need what it carries. The 5 Earth ships moved out from behind the ice rocks, engines glowing. The Council ships never saw them coming. Back on Earth, Director Soo-jin sat at her desk in the old United Nations building in New York. Reports from across the galaxy filled her screens. As head of Earth's intelligence service, it was her job to find friends among the stars. A knock came at her door. Enter, she called. Her assistant walked in with a secure tablet. Director, we got a response from the Tellurians. Soo-jin took the tablet, her heart beating faster. The Tellurians were one of the first species the Council had conquered 300 years ago. If anyone had reason to hate the Council, it was them. She read the message quickly, then smiled. They will meet with us. Send word to Ambassador Yoon. Tell him to prepare for a trip to the Epsilon Eridani system. But Director, her assistant said, looking confused, how will Ambassador Yoon get past the blockade? Soo-jin's smile grew wider. Let me worry about that. Just send the message. That night, Admiral Do-hyun sat in his office on the Resilience reading reports. The blockade was holding tight around Earth. Food and supplies would last for months, but not forever. They needed a breakthrough. Commander Subin entered after a quick knock. Admiral, you asked to see me? Do-hyun nodded. Yes. Sit down, Commander. I have a mission for you. Subin sat across from his desk. What kind of mission, sir? A dangerous one. Do-hyun turned his screen so she could see. We need to get Ambassador Yoon through the blockade. He has a meeting that could change everything. Subin studied the screen showing the positions of the Council ships. It won't be easy. They watch every move we make. That's why I'm sending my best commander, Do-hyun said quietly. You will take our newest ship, the Ghost. It has our most advanced cloaking system. If anyone can slip through their lines, it's you. Subin looked up, her eyes serious. When do I leave? Tonight. And Subin, Do-hyun added, if you're caught, destroy the ship. The Council cannot learn about this mission or the technology on the Ghost. She nodded once. Understood, Admiral. 2 days later, in the Council's grand meeting hall, Ambassador Voss faced angry questions. The room was huge, with seats for representatives from all 34 member species. High above, a glass dome showed the stars. Your reports said the humans were primitive, shouted the Zark representative, his red scales puffing up in anger. You said they would join without trouble. Voss stood tall, but his blue skin had turned a paler shade. I reported what our scans showed. The humans hid their true capabilities. Impossible, declared the Minorian delegate, her 6 eyes blinking. Rapidly. No species has ever deceived Council scans before. No species has ever refused Council protection before either, Voss replied. These humans are different. The Supreme Council member, an ancient being named Drath, raised his hand for silence. The room quieted immediately. Different or not, these humans must be taught respect, Drath said, his voice deep and slow. The blockade will continue. No food, no supplies, no communication with other worlds. When they are hungry and afraid, they will accept our terms. Voss looked down. With respect, Supreme One, I'm not sure they will. Their leaders showed no fear. They seemed prepared for this. Drath's eyes narrowed. Then we will show them the true power of the Council. Send 10 more warships to join the blockade, and prepare a strike force to attack their lunar colony. Let's see how prepared they are for that. As the meeting ended, Voss walked slowly back to his quarters. Something about these humans bothered him deeply. He had met many species in his long career, but none like them. Most species feared the unknown, feared being alone in the vast darkness of space. They joined the council for protection, for belonging. But humans? They had faced the darkness alone for their entire history, and they seemed ready to keep facing it on their own terms. For the first time in his life, Voss wondered if the council had made a mistake. On the edge of the solar system, the Ghost slipped silently past the last council patrol. Its advanced cloaking technology hid it completely from enemy sensors. On the bridge, Commander Subin released the breath she had been holding. "We're clear," she said to Ambassador Yoon, who stood beside her. "Setting course for the Epsilon." "Eridani system. Maximum speed." Yoon nodded, his old face serious. "Good. We have friends waiting for us there. Friends who have lived under the Council's boot for centuries." "What makes you think they'll help us?" Subin asked. "The risk is huge." Yoon's eyes twinkled. "Because we've done what they never could. We've shown the Council can be defied. Sometimes, Commander, one act of courage can light a fire across the galaxy." The Ghost disappeared into the depths of space, carrying with it Earth's hopes for building a resistance that could change everything. 6 months had passed since the Council placed their blockade around Earth. The situation looked bad. Food was running low in some areas. Medicine was becoming scarce. The Council had doubled their ships around Earth, making the blockade even stronger. But still, Earth did not kneel. In a small, dim room on the distant world of Epsilon Eridani, Ambassador Yoon sat across from the Tellurian Elder. The Elder's body was like living crystal, catching the light and breaking it into colors. His name was Krell, and his people had lived under Council rule for 300 years. "You ask for much," Krell said, his voice making a sound like gentle wind chimes. "The Council punishes those who rebel. They would destroy our world." Yoon, his white hair neatly combed, leaned forward. "Only if they win. That is why we need each other, Elder Krell. Alone we might fail. Together we have a chance." "You are one planet," Krell said. "The Council controls hundreds." "True," Yoon nodded. "But those hundreds are not happy under Council rule, are they? How many species dream of freedom?" Krell was quiet for a long moment. Then he reached out one crystal hand and touched a control on the table. A map of the galaxy appeared in the air between them. "There are others who feel as we do," Krell admitted. "The Novanians with their cloaking technology, the Meridians, masters of biology, the Valar who build the fastest ships. If they joined us..." Yoon smiled. "Then we would have a real alliance, one that could challenge the Council." "It would take time to contact them all," Krell warned. "And great risk." "We have people ready to take that risk," Yoon said. "Commander Subin waits in orbit with our fastest ship." Krell's crystal body seemed to glow brighter. "You truly believe this is possible?" "I do," Yoon said firmly. "For too long, the Council has ruled through fear. But there is something stronger than fear, Elder Krell. Hope. And humans are very good at hope." Back on Earth, Admiral Do-hyun walked through a hospital in Seoul. Beds filled every room, many holding sick children. A doctor walked beside him, looking tired. "We're running out of the medicines we need," the doctor explained. "The blockade stops everything from coming in." Do-hyun nodded, his face grim. "I understand. We're doing everything we can." As he left the hospital, his comm unit beeped. "Admiral, this is Jiho. I need to see you right away. I found something." 30 minutes later, Do-hyun stood in Jiho's lab, looking at a complex diagram on her screen. "You're sure about this?" he asked, hardly daring to believe it. Jiho nodded excitedly. "Yes. Their shield technology has a flaw. Every 90 seconds there's a tiny pause in the quantum field. Less than half a second. But if we time our weapons to hit at exactly that moment, we could break through their defenses." Do-hyun finished. He placed a hand on her shoulder. "Excellent work, Jiho. This could change everything." There's more, she said, pulling up another screen. I've been studying the data from Taiwan's raids. The council ships all use the same communication system. If we can crack their codes, we could listen to everything they say, maybe even send false orders. Du Hyun smiled for the first time in weeks. Keep working on it. This could be the advantage we need. In the outer reaches of the solar system, Commander Taiwan's ships hid among the ice of Pluto. His fleet had grown from 5 ships to 12. Young pilots, eager to fight for Earth, had joined his raiders. Council supply ship coming. Into range, his sensor officer reported. But something's wrong. There are 4 escort ships this time, not the usual 2. Taiwan frowned. They're learning, changing their patterns. He thought for a moment. We'll split up, 2 groups. Minho, take ships 3 through 7 and circle behind them. We'll attack from the front, then you hit them from behind when they're distracted. As his officers moved to carry out his orders, Taiwan's comm unit lit up with a message from Earth. His eyes widened as he read it. Change of plans, he announced. We're going home. All ships. Admiral Do Hyun has called us back to Earth. His second-in-command looked surprised. Sir? What about the council supply ship? Let it go, Taiwan said, already plotting a course back to Earth. We have bigger plans now. In the Grand Council chamber, Ambassador Voss stood before the Supreme Council member Drath. The news was not good. The humans continue to resist, Voss reported. And there's more. Our patrols near Epsilon Eridani reported seeing a ship that matches human design. Drath's ancient face darkened with anger. Impossible. No ship could have broken through our blockade. And yet, Voss said carefully, it seems one did. What were they doing in the Tellurian system? Drath demanded. We don't know, but the timing is concerning. Drath stood, his tall form casting a shadow over Voss. You think they seek allies? The Tellurians are weak, they have been obedient for centuries. Perhaps, Voss said, the humans give them reason to be disobedient. Drath was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke, his voice cold. Double the patrols in all systems with species who might sympathize with Earth, and prepare the battle fleet. It's time to show these humans the true power of the Council. We will attack their fleet directly. Supreme One, Voss said hesitantly. Perhaps we should consider talking with them first, offering better terms. Drath's eyes narrowed. You sound like you admire these humans, Ambassador. Voss straightened his back. I respect their courage, and I wonder if making an enemy of them is wise. They made themselves our enemy when they refused to kneel, Drath said dismissively. The attack will proceed in 2 weeks, that will be all, Ambassador. As Voss left the chamber, he felt deeply troubled. In 500 years, the Council had never faced a challenge like this. They had forgotten how to do anything but demand submission. And now, faced with a species that refused to submit, they knew only one response: crush them. But what if that didn't work? What then? On Earth, Do Hyun stood in the war room beneath the old Pentagon building. Around him stood the leaders of Earth's defense, Subin, who had returned from her secret mission, Taewon back from the outer system, Jiho with her breakthrough on Council shields, and Director Soo-jin, who coordinated their intelligence efforts. Ambassador Yoon's mission was successful, Do Hyun announced. The Tellurians have agreed to join us, and through them we have made contact with 6 other species who chafe under Council rule. 7 systems against hundreds? Taewon asked doubtfully. Those aren't good odds. Better than 1 against hundreds, Subin pointed out. Do Hyun nodded. Exactly, and we have advantages the Council doesn't expect. Jiho has found a weakness in their shields. Taewon's raids have given us valuable data on their tactics, and most importantly, we have something they've never faced before. What's that? Jiho asked. Do Hyun smiled. A real reason to fight, not for control or power, but for freedom. Our own, and freedom for all species who want it. He touched a control and a hologram appeared showing the positions of Council ships around Earth. Our intelligence suggests they plan to attack in 2 weeks. Sujin reported. They're bringing their main battle fleet. Good, Do-hyun said, surprising them all. Let them come, because when they do, they'll find not just Earth waiting for them. He touched another control, and the hologram expanded to show the whole galaxy. 7 points of light glowed bright. In 2 weeks, he said, quietly, we show them what humanity does best, the impossible. The council war room was filled with activity. Alarms blared. Officers rushed from station to station. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Rebellion on Tellurian homeworld. Novanian defense fleet has turned against council ships. Communication. Relays in the Meridian system are down. Voss watched the chaos with a growing sense of dread. What he had feared was happening. The humans had not been idle during the blockade. They had been building alliances. Supreme Council member Drath stormed into the room, his face dark with rage. What is happening? He demanded. Simultaneous uprising, Supreme One, an officer reported. 7 systems have declared themselves free of council rule. Impossible, Drath shouted. These species have been under our control for centuries. How could they coordinate such actions? Voss stepped forward. The humans, Supreme One, they must have reached out to these worlds, given them hope, a plan. Drath's eyes narrowed. The blockade is still in place, Earth is cut off. And yet, Voss said quietly, here we are. Show me the Earth blockade, Drath ordered. The main screen changed to show the standoff around Earth. 100 council ships maintained their positions. Earth's defense fleet held steady behind them. This view had not changed in months. See? Drath said. Everything is normal. The humans are trapped. Just then, a priority alert came from the council flagship near Earth. Unknown signatures detected, emerging. From subspace. On the screen, new ships appeared behind the council blockade. Hundreds of them, ships of human design, but enhanced with technology that showed influences from multiple species. What is this? Drath whispered, his confidence shaken for the first time. Admiral Do-hyun's voice came through on all channels, calm and clear. The Earth fleet sends greetings to the Galactic Council. We apologize for the delay. We had to pick up some friends. First, the tactical display updated, showing the true situation. The human fleet was not alone. Ships from all 7 of the rebelling systems had joined them, forming the largest combined fleet the galaxy had seen in centuries. This is treason, Drath sputtered. No, Supreme One, Voss said, watching the screen with a strange mix of fear and admiration. This is revolution. On the bridge of the Resilience, Admiral Do-hyun stood tall, Commander Subin at his side. Around them, the bridge crew worked at their stations, faces serious but determined. All ships report ready, Admiral, Subin said. The Tellurian fleet is in position. Novanian cloaked ships are moving to disable the Council flagship. Meridian biological weapons are standing by. Do-hyun nodded. And our new shields? Online, sir. Jiho's modifications have been applied to all Earth ships. We can now target the weak points in the Council shields. Do-hyun took a deep breath. This was the moment Earth had prepared for. Not just to defend itself, but to free the galaxy from Council rule. Send the message to all Council ships, he ordered. Subin pressed a control. Channel open, sir. Attention, Council vessels. Do-hyun said, his voice firm. This is Admiral Do-hyun of Earth. For centuries, you have forced species to kneel before you, to give up their freedom, their resources, their right to grow and develop as they choose. That ends today. He paused, then continued. We offer you one chance. Withdraw your forces. End the blockade of Earth and all other worlds. Recognize the right of all species to self-determination. If you do this, we will discuss peace terms. In the council war room, Drath listened to the human's message, his face growing darker with each word. They dare to dictate terms to us? He hissed. The council has ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. We will not be threatened by primitives and traitors. He turned to his officers. Order the fleet to attack. Destroy the human ships first, then deal with the rebels. Voss stepped forward. Supreme One, please reconsider. Their combined fleet may be... Silence, Drath shouted. You have always been too soft on these humans, Ambassador. The Council will show its true power today. Back on the Resilience, Do-hyun received the Council's response. They've ordered their ships to attack, he told Subin. They're targeting our fleet first. Subin wasn't surprised. Pride. It's their weakness. And their downfall, Do-hyun agreed. He touched his comm unit. All ships, execute Battle Plan Omega. Remember, your training. Hit their shields at the 90-second mark when the field weakens. The Navanians will mark the targets. Across space, the massive battle began. Council ships fired their weapons, expecting easy victories as they had known for centuries. But this time was different. Earth ships, using Jiho's discovery, timed their attacks perfectly. When Council shields weakened for that split second, human weapons struck true. Novanian ships, completely invisible to Council sensors, slipped behind enemy lines and disabled engines and weapons. On the Tellurian ships, crystal beings who had dreamed of freedom for generations fought with fierce determination. Meridian, vessels released special compounds that stuck to Council ships and interfered with their sensors. It was unlike any battle the galaxy had seen before. Not just different weapons and tactics, but different reasons for fighting. The Council fought for control. The Alliance fought for freedom. In the Council war room, the mood changed from confidence to concern, then to fear. We're losing ships, an officer reported, his voice shaking. 15 destroyed already, 30 more disabled. How? Drath demanded. Their weapons shouldn't be able to penetrate our shields. They found a weakness, another officer said, and they're not fighting like any species we've faced before. They work together, covering each other, using combined tactics. Voss watched the tactical display, seeing Council ships blinking out one after another. They fight like they've been preparing for this their whole lives, he said quietly. What do you mean? Drath snapped. Humans have fought wars among themselves for thousands of years, Voss explained. They know battle in a way we've forgotten, and now they've taught the other species what they know. On the Resilience, Do-hyun watched the battle unfold. The Council fleet was in chaos. Their ships had never needed to work together before. They had always been the strongest, facing enemies who could not truly fight back. They're breaking formation, Subin reported. The flagship is trying to retreat. Do-hyun nodded. Tell Commander Krell to cut off their escape route, and have Jiho jam their communications. It's time to end this. He opened a channel to all ships. This is Admiral Do-hyun. Focus fire on the Council flagship. Disable, don't destroy. We want prisoners, not martyrs. The combined fleet moved with surprising harmony. Ships from 7 different species working as one. The Council flagship, massive and powerful, found itself surrounded, its weapons unable to target the quick, coordinated attackers. One by one, its systems failed. First weapons, then engines, then shields. Finally, its lights dimmed as power failed completely. We have them, Admiral, Subin reported. The Council flagship is disabled. And the rest of their fleet? Retreating or surrendering? The battle is over. Do-hyun allowed himself a small smile. No, Commander. The battle is over. But our work is just beginning. 3 days later, Admiral Do-hyun stood in the Grand Council chamber. But now, it was not just Council species who filled the seats. Representatives from Earth and the 7 allied worlds sat together, equals at last. Supreme Council member Drath had been removed from power. In his place sat a council of 9, 1 from each of the allied worlds, 1 from Earth, and 1 chosen from the former Council species. Today marks a new beginning, Do-hyun said to the assembled representatives. Not the Galactic Council, but the Galactic Alliance. Not rule by fear, but cooperation based on respect, not forcing others to kneel but helping each other to stand. As he spoke, he thought of all who had made this moment possible. Jiho with her brilliant mind, Taiwan with his daring raids, Subin with her quiet strength, Yoon with his diplomatic skills, and countless others, human and alien alike, who had refused to accept a future of submission. The Council had thought humans would kneel. That had been their final mistake.